I'm Adam Reese, and this is the Fat Math. And if you're interested in learning more about this, go to gritgym.com/SS and sign up for a strategy session there where we will sit down and we will do this with you. But you want to get real on this because if you want to get to a certain body composition, and can you guys let me know if you can hear me below? If you're watching this in replay, go ahead and type in #team replay. If you're watching this right now, go ahead and put something down in there so I know that you're listening. But if you're watching it, if you're team live, #team live. If you're watching it later, #team replay. But this is the math of fat. Okay, the first thing with any of this stuff is you have to negotiate the emotional connection you have to that word. Like I say fat, and I almost feel kind of like weird saying it, right? Because we put this emotional attachment to this word, where really it's adipose tissue. That's all it is. It's adipose tissue. It has no bearing on who you are, or your identity, or anything. And and one of the phrases that you can start to stop using. Realize that's a weird thing to say. But one of the phrases you can stop using is, "I'm fat." Like, stop it. Like, what positive benefit could this have besides like like proposing a challenge? Maybe, I don't know. I don't think I can come up with a positive thing off of this. For one, that is not who you are. It is something you have. Fat is something that is on your body. It's on mine. I have a certain amount of fat. If you have zero fat, you're going to die. Okay? If you have a certain amount of fat, it is not who you are, it is something that you have. So get rid of that "I'm fat" stuff. Just be like, I have fat. Okay? I have fat that I'd like to lose. That's a completely different deal than identifying with this thing and saying, I'm the fat person. No, you're not. You're you. Like, I'm Adam. I'm not fat. I have fat on my body. Do you see the difference there? So you want to break that emotional connection first off, okay? Because I'm going to use that word throughout this video. Okay? I don't want to use that word because of the negative connection that people have with it. But what is the math of fat? Like, what's the fat math? How do we do this? Well, first of all, we have to figure out what our numbers actually are. And to do that, come into Grit Gym. We'll do an in-body scan with you. And part of the problem with it, like, one of the wonderful things about having the door open in weather like this, where it's just awesome where we are, is that you get to experience the weather. But the other thing is, like, one pesky fly will come in and always mess with me. But if we're doing the math of fat, you have to figure out what are the numbers that we're working with. Okay, you don't just want to start out a fat loss journey and be like, I want to lose as much as I possibly can. Well, you don't have any targets, okay? You don't know, you have no way to benchmark if you're making progress or not. You want to have a plan going into this, for starters, and you want to have some targets along the way so that you can, this is the thing with where people are like, you don't set unrealistic goals. It's like, for one, you should set unrealistic goals because it is you darn guy, because it is complete, like, darn fly. But it is you believe it is completely realistic for you to believe in you. You just got to do it. All right, so we've got to figure out our numbers. We have to figure out where we are, and then we got to figure out the total, and then we need to set targets, and we need to have a time frame. Okay, how long does it take to actually get this off? Because if you're talking, I want to lose 100 pounds in the next 3 months, well, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen in a healthy way. There's no, you could make that happen, but you don't want to sacrifice the health to get the fat loss. Okay? We need to make this a long play so that we can keep it off for a long period of time. Okay? And then you have to figure out the schedule. When are you going to hit certain targets along the way? Okay? If you're interested in learning more about this, go to gritgym.com/SS as in strategy session, and sign up for a strategy session right there. It's free. It's one-on-one. We can do these over Skype, or we can do these over the phone because the FaceTime makes it really easy and works really well. So we need to figure out what are our numbers, all right? So if let's say we're starting out and we're 190 pounds. Well, if you don't come in and you don't get an in-body scan to figure out what percentage we're actually at, then we can't figure out our total numbers because, if you're walking in, I'm happy to use calculators on my phone, so we're using old school calculator. But if you're 200, let's say that you're 190 pounds and you're 40% body fat, we're going to be sitting at 76 pounds of fat. Now, you wouldn't want to get rid of all of that. Hey, like I said earlier, if you're 0% body fat, you're dead. Okay, you need a certain amount of fat in your body. But let's say that you're 20% body fat at 190. Okay, Well, that's going to be 38 pounds of fat. Those are completely different starting points. I mean, that's like the difference between, like if we are going to New York and we're starting in Missouri, or we're going to New York and we're starting in Minnesota, they're going to be two different paths, okay? Where both of them are going in a similar direction, but they're going to be two different paths. So we need to figure out the numbers, all right? And for this, let's say that this person is starting out at 190 pounds, because this is a very common one that we hear, 190 pounds, and we're going to go off of 190 pounds. All right, so the person comes in, they're 190 pounds. We figure out, let's say that we figure out the percentage by doing the in-body scan at 30%. Well, 30%, it's pretty easy. You just take your 30% times your 190, okay, and you would come up, what is that? Is that like 50? Let's just do it. 57. That gives you 57 pounds of fat. All right, so 57 pounds of fat. This is what I mean by, like, I'm saying this word, and people attach so much emotion to it. They're like, oh, 57 pounds of fat, that's so much. No, it's not. It's really not. 57 pounds of fat is like I weighed in the other day, and I was 11% at 230, okay, 11%. Okay, so I'm looking at, like, basically 23, a little over 23, 230 times 0.11. That puts me at 24, right? It's not a lot of fat. You got to look at this different. You have to detach from the emotional connection with the word fat. You are not fat. You have fat. It is something that you have, not something that you are. Okay, so but if you want to lose it, we have to do the math. So we figure out the percent. If you're 190 pounds and 30% of you is body fat, and we want to get down, if you're a female, you want to get this down below 25%. If you're a male, you want to get this down below 15%. Let's say we're going for 15%. All right, because it's going to be easier math. I'll rewrite this so that you guys can actually read it. All right, 57%. Lied about the reading part. Okay, so 57 pounds of fat. We want to get down to 15. Well, like this is why I said, like, this is a pretty easy number. So we just cut that in half. What is that, 28 and a half? What is 57 divided by 2? So if we want to get down, so if we're trying to hit 15% body fat, we need to get, yeah, I was really close, 28.5 pounds of fat. All right, so this becomes our target, 28.5. Okay, that is our target for our fat math. Okay, so now we can't just start here. We can't just go, okay, now we have our target. We know what we want to hit. We want to hit 28.5 pounds of cut. Well, you have to make the plan to get there. So just because we have our number right now doesn't mean that this game is over. And if you want to get like if you want to get an in-body scan and you want to figure out what yours is and you want us to do this math with you, what I'm doing right now, go to gritgym.com/SS. Because summertime's coming, we're all going to have to get, take our shirts off here at some point. So we want to get down, we want to cut 28.5 pounds of fat mass. We're going to consider that we're not going to gain any muscle mass in the process because we're going to go at this thing aggressive. And so so now what is 190 minus 28? Now we're at 161 minus 28.5. Equals 161.5. So you're going to try to weigh 161.5 pounds, and you're starting at 190. We figured out some math along the way here so that we can get there. All right, now we've actually got to take this a step further. So we figured out that our percent over here equals 30%. We figured out that our total was 76. And that our target is now 161.5 with a 28.5% or 28.5 pound cut of fat. All right, we have to do this math out. Now we've got to figure out our timeline. So 28.5 pounds of fat. We figured out earlier that you can put on about 1 pound of muscle per month. You can take off about 1 pound of fat per week. Okay, 1 to 2 pounds. If you're getting really, really aggressive, you can go to the 2 pound. I suggest going for 1 pound a week no matter how much weight you have. I don't care if you're 500 pounds and you're trying to get down, go 1 pound a week, 1 pound a week, and we're just going to keep this going. Because the more consistent and long-term play that you can make off of this thing, the more you make it a part of the lifestyle, the less you trash your metabolism, the more you're going to be able to just keep it once you get down there. And that's what you want to do. You want to be able to keep the fat off once you get there. If you look at all the Biggest Loser contestants, 100% of them have gained back 100% of their weight. Most of them have gained back more than what they actually lost on the show. And it's because they crash dieted in a spot that wasn't their real life. They go to this house where they have a personal trainer that makes them work out like 4 different personal trainers to make them work out like 6 hours a day. They have their own personal chef. They don't have a TV, and they're not in their own actual environment, and they don't have a job, right? Well, the show is their job, but it's different. So now we've got to figure out a timeline. 28.5 pounds, that means we can get it in about 28 weeks. We're just going to make that, so there's 52 weeks in a year, so that's 26 weeks in 6 months, 26 weeks would be 6 months. And so we can just do this for about a 6-month period of time. So let's say it's going to take us 28 weeks to get to this, all right? So that means we're going to go for 1 pound a week. And so now you would just take whatever it is today, and you'd figure out the date that you want to hit that cut at. So basically, you open Siri and say, hey Siri, what's the date 28 weeks from today? That's on my phone right now. So whatever the date is today. Today's May, so we're talking into November. So we're talking November something. Basically, we're into November at that point. All right, but we know we're going to be down 1 pound per week. So the thing with the math is, it makes it real. At 28.5 pounds, it seems like, oh my God, that's this huge number. How could I ever make this like huge leap to 28.5 pounds? Well, you break it into chunks. Because if we know that we have 28 weeks, so at 28 weeks, all right, we need to be down 28.5 pounds. But at 14 weeks, we need to be down 14.25. All right, and then at, 7 weeks, we need to be down 7.125, right? And then so it breaks it down further. So now, like at 3 weeks, we need to be down 3 pounds. And 1 week from today, we need to be down 1 pound. So it makes it these bite-sized chunks, these like check-in dates, so that we can actually accomplish the thing. So 1 week from today, if you want to lose 30 pounds in the next 6 months, 1 week from today, you need to lose a pound. Okay? Most people know enough to lose the first 4, 5, 6 pounds. Almost everybody knows enough to do that because we all know enough to make better decisions. Most people know that an apple is better than a Snickers bar in terms of how much, in terms of fat loss. So take the apple instead of the Snickers bar. Everybody knows enough to make a better decision. So now that we've done this, now we get to figure out the schedule. All right, this is the last thing. You get on your phone and you go to your calendar and you actually enter in these dates. Okay, what is 28 weeks from today? What is 14 weeks from today? What is 7 weeks from today? What is 3 weeks from today? And on those dates, you write in the number that you need to be at. Okay, and once you get to that date, it's going to pop up on your phone because you're going to create a notification. It's going to pop up on your phone. And it's going to say down 7 pounds starting at 190. All right, we said that we were starting at 190 and we were going to 161.5, right? Yeah, we're going to 161.5. So it says starting at 190, I need to be down 7 weeks. That timer's going to go off 7.125 pounds. All right, and then you're going to hop on that in-body and you're going to figure out how much of that was fat and how much of that was muscle. Now the next step with the beyond this, after you get this set up, is you don't want to use the regular scale. You don't want to use the regular scale. The regular scale doesn't tell you if you gain fat or you lost fat or you gain muscle or you lost muscle. We don't know. We need to have a little bit more insight into the body to know what's going on there. And the reason for that is if, let's say that you put on a pound of muscle, and you didn't lose any fat, right? Well, if you put on a pound of muscle and you didn't lose any fat, well, then we wouldn't be getting down, right? It would be like 191, or it'd be 191. Well, we would know that if you're putting on a pound of muscle, it means that our caloric intake is a little bit higher than probably what it needs to be. Now, let's say that in this scenario, we're going for down 1 plus 0 because we're trying to be pretty aggressive with it. Now we know we're probably sitting right where we need to be, rather than the other way around. But let's say that you put on 5 and you lost 3, you'd have a net of 2, right? Well, we're still eating too many calories, and we're not being as aggressive as we could with the fat content. Okay, this is obviously like a few months out, but we're not being as aggressive as we could with the fat. All right, so we need to do the math to figure out where we are there so that we're not screwing this up. Now, at this same point, we could have been down 8 had we just done our We could be down 8 because of the 5 and the 3. If we would have done our math right up front and checked in on the in-body over and over again. So this is some of the reason that you do this. You need to have some way of gauging this, whether it's a pinch test, whether it's a DEXA scan, whatever the thing is that you are using. You need some check-in, and you need it on multiple times. And you don't want to do it too often. Like 1 week is about what you need to be. But you have to set up dates for this stuff. So first, you have to figure out where your numbers are. Okay? Are you at 30% body fat and you're weighing 190 pounds? Okay, that would be a total fat mass of 76 pounds. Well, you don't want to lose all of that. We only want to lose half of that to get down to 15%. 15% gets us down to 161 if we don't gain any muscle. So our target needs to be down to 161.5, which is a total cut of 28.5 pounds. And then we have to figure out the time frame so that we can make a realistic plan. And the thing that this kind of drives me nuts about goal setting. It's like, it is realistic to believe in you, okay? Set the goals big and get aggressive with those things. Otherwise, you will not get excited to do those things. All right, so once we figure out the time, how much can we do per week, then we can figure out and we can project out when you can hit that number. Now we have to go and we have to create the schedule, enter that in the phone, figure out the numbers that you need to hit, when you need to hit them, and put those in your phone with the notification. And then along the way, we need little check-ins to know that we're going in the right direction with more math. Okay? You have to do the math if you want to figure this thing out. If you want to get to where you're going, this is what people pay us to do. They pay us to get from point A to point B in the most efficient and timely and safe way possible. That's our job. That's my job. So you have to do this. You have to. If you're not going to come in here and talk to us, you have to do this math. Okay? The United States is over 40% obese in every single category. Obesity is a disease. Okay? It is where your body has so much fat that it's literally killing you. Okay? You have to separate this idea that fat has something to do with your identity and push out into this thing to become some level of lean. There is a point where too lean becomes not healthy. But if you're not below 15% body fat as a male and below 25% body fat as a female, then you are sacrificing experiences of your life that you could have that are amazing. You're sacrificing your joints, you're sacrificing your health, you're sacrificing your performance that you could have, your energy levels, your skin, it just goes on and on and on. But the highest, the 35 to 45-year-olds are over 48% body fat. And the most alarming one is that the childhood obesity rate is skyrocketing. These are kids that do not have power over this. Okay? They do not have power over this. This is parents that are just teaching them this lesson that it's okay to just eat and eat and eat and not be active. Okay? You are free of nature's requiring you to be in shape. You are not free of the responsibility it takes to actually do the thing that your body needs to live the experience that it wants. You have a moral obligation to do this for your children and to do this for your purpose in your life. Okay? Nobody, it's not life's job to give you a purpose, it's yours. You have to do that by way of your responsibility. And part of this, if you want to learn how to do this stuff, go to gritgym.com/SS and let us help you with it. Because that's what we want to do. That's why we do these videos. I don't like doing these videos. I do them because it fulfills the mission. My mission is to help you. Okay? My mission is to inspire freedom from the status quo. Is to revolutionize health by inspiring freedom from the status quo so everyone can experience their life the way they want to live it instead of the default life they could end up with. Okay? Mouthful. Repeat that. Try it. That's my mission. This suffices the mission. Okay? 40%. There's 9.4% of the United States right now is diabetic. That's almost 10%. That's 327 million people. And out of those, that means that 32 million people are diabetic. And 95% of the people, of the diagnosed cases of diabetes are type 2, not type 1. Only 5% of the people that have diabetes in the United States right now were born with it. Okay? That means it's their fault. The type 2 diabetes means they earned it. Okay? You have to take responsibility for your health. It is the most important thing. Everything else is subordinate to your health. Your wealth, your relationships, and your time are all subordinate to your health. You need to take care of this thing. And if you are over 15% body fat as a male, over 30% body fat as a female, or you're just not where you want to be because it's your life, it's not mine to judge how you want to experience yours and your body, then you need to do everything you possibly can to get to where you want, right? And we have to do the math. First, figure out your percentage, where you actually are, get your numbers clear. Then you need to find your total and how much you actually need to lose to get to where you want to go. Then you need to create targets. Then you need to create a time frame, and you need to set your schedule. And then along that schedule, you need to have check-ins to make sure that you're going in the direction that you want at the pace that you want to go. All right. Anyway, I'm Adam Reese, and this is Grit Gym. Come into gritgym.com, or go to gritgym.com/SS and get signed up for a strategy session there, and you can learn the math of body composition, the fat math. Okay? Disconnect from this idea that the word fat is bad. Fat is something you have. It is not who you are.